Yeah. You okay? Hmm? My mom gonna start off by reading this little book to you. Hmm? You okay? Huh? Yeah. Okay. So what you want? You want to be fast or slow? What you want, man? Nah, nanny. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about the community today. You want to talk about the community? Okay. So let me see. Hey, Monica. Really? Say hey, Monica. Okay, Mama, I'm gonna put the beat on, so don't get scared, okay? Okay? What's wrong, Legally? You put something in your mouth, didn't you? See, that's what happens. Didn't I tell you about this? Huh? Did my mom say stop putting things in your mouth? It comes back to get you. You ready? Listen, here we go. Say, bounce, bounce, baby. Gently, sweetly soft, then slow. Bounce, bounce, baby. Up and down, up you go. Bounce, bounce, baby. Can you do it? Yes, you can. Say, bounce, bounce, baby. One hand, two hands, try to stand. Woo, woo. Come on, Leaky Leak. Woo, woo. That's right. Hey. So we're going to be talking about the community. Say, DJ Moss, what's going on? Say, hey, I am the community. Who's the community, baby? We got to let them know who the community is. Huh? That's our future. Hey, in case you didn't know, now you know. I'm about to break it down to you really slow. Who's the community? Here we go. It's your children. Didn't you know? Who's the community? Huh? Tell them, who's the community? You the community. I'm the community. They the community. Yes. Hey, tell them to them, Lee. Didn't know, I think I caught them sleep. Yeah, they're sleeping, brother. Yes, they are. Didn't they know that we can't go far if we don't pay attention to the future? That's right, the future, future, future. But as you know, these knuckleheads are stupid, and they don't know nothing about the future. Huh? The only future they know is the rapper himself. And that nigga got a lot of future because he got a lot of kids. Hey, hey. That's right. We're going to talk about the community. The community. What I say? The community. Don't they know that we need to slay? That's right. We need to pay. We need to pay attention to the gay. Huh? That's right. We need to pay attention to them gay people, man. Anyway, because they making moves. How's everybody doing? I'm over here playing with my grandchild. Just fed him a little breakfast. Huh? And he's probably gonna take a little nap again. But I wanted to talk about, because we got a lot of things going on in the news with the killings, murders, or I'm not even sure what the police are calling it, accidental deaths, or they saying that brother had a pre-existing condition. I think what is his name? Because I don't want to mess up people's names, but we're not going to talk about anybody in particular. I'm going to talk about us as a people. And who is us? Right? Am I breaking it down just to black people? Because I don't think we could do that. Right? I do think that we as black people need to start paying attention. Big Floyd, that's what they call him, Big Floyd. And the first thing they're going to do is try to disparage that man. They're going to try to find out, is he a criminal? Let's expose his criminal record. Is he a man who looked like a thug? You know what I mean? Because we all look like thugs. Women, in case y'all didn't know, black women, we look like whores, right? They talk to us like we are whores. I'm gonna give you an example of that personally myself just recently. Okay, without even seeing me, just on a telephone with a police officer, right? They automatically think you must be doing something. You're doing something. You deserve whatever it is that you're getting or not getting, because you must be doing something. So as women, we're whores, we're easy, and they don't know that to be a fact. That's just an assumption. And the men, our men are thugs. See, they can handle us being whores, right? Because men of other races, they love black women. You know, fuck with these black manosphere men are saying, right? Because they don't make no sense. You could tell they are a bunch of simps and nobodies. Because the real men already know that yes, there are many men who have no problem with black women. The only people who have problem with black women are the ones who can't get us. Okay, the ones who can't obtain us. Fast. Y'all hear him? He's singing himself to sleep. Oh man, yeah, man. That's what he does when he's tired. But anyway, yeah. What you want to say, man? Hmm? Anyway, so you know, I've been on YouTube for a couple of years, and I've heard the black men claim that black women are the ugliest, the most unattractive, and yet they sleep with us, and they'll tell them, well, yeah, we'll sleep with you. Well, I tell you what, if you sleeping with unattractive people just because you can't get nothing better, what does that say about you? You know, they try to make sense out of nonsense. Oh, well, I don't think you're unattractive. Other people think you're unattractive. Well, that's a lie. And I am one of those people who could tell you the facts on that. Because I have fans from all across this globe. Okay, I have men who follow me all across the globe, baby. I'm not talking about just in my little sector, in my little area in the United States. I'm not talking about just the men in Louisiana or just the men in Delaware. I'm talking about the men all around this globe. I have more men who follow me from other countries than the men who follow me here. They will be about the same in number, really. Equal. I have men from France who follow me, Spain who follow me. You know what I'm saying? I have men from Germany who follow me. I have men all across this globe who follow me. And I have never, ever, you know, because I'll hear some of these black women, the ones who have problem with light-skinned women, they'll say some stupid shit. Well, it's your light skin. It's your light skin. Or you probably was passing. You was passing. That's why they like you. They followed you because you got blue eyes and you confused them. Even if they was confused by a photograph, I promise you, once we had a conversation, there was no confusion. I never hidden who I was. I couldn't. First of all, I can't even hide the accent, right? I can't even hide that if I wanted to. Well, I guess I could if I decided to speak a little more proper, but that's not who I am. But anyway, I don't want to get into the light skin, dark skin, colorism bullshit, because that's some nonsense that we ourselves within our community have put in front, you know, up in order for us to have conflict. Because there's no way we should be fighting each other when we have the same issues, the same goddamn issues. And also, let me say this. When a man of another race, when he does like a black woman, he tends to like dark-skinned black women. Okay, he tend to like the same thing I like. The reason I like dark-skinned brothers, right? I like dark-skinned brothers because their skin is so pretty. Goddamn it. And their skin against my skin is even sexier than I even can imagine, right? It's just a sexy sight. So when a white man tend to like dark skin, that's what he like. That's what he like. Or not even just white men, but in our black community, we have decided to break shit down. I had somebody tell me, oh, well, you're not really black. You're biracial. And I'm like, well, you're not biracial? How you know you're not biracial? How you know somewhere in your line of family members, how do you know that you're not biracial? Okay, I don't walk around claiming that I'm biracial. My mother and my father are black. I never even heard this biracial bullshit, within our community until just recently and on this bullshit over here. But I do understand there are a group of people who like to be titled biracial. And that is them, right? I'm not against that or for it. It's none of my goddamn business. There are people who are saying, look, I love both my mother and father. They are different races, and I'm taking pride in that. And they want to hold the title biracial. That's their business. And they can do that. I'm not against that. Okay? I don't know anything about that. Because although my dad, right, I think most of y'all have heard the story behind my dad. My grandmother was raped by a group of white men, and she ended up pregnant with my dad. Okay. But my dad has never walked around claiming that he was biracial. My dad never even, in fact, I didn't even know that story until my grandmother told it to me. And she didn't actually tell it to me. Right? I was a nosy teenager just sitting around with the adults, and they started having a conversation. I think I was maybe about 11, 12 years old, sitting on the porch with my grandmother, doing what kids do. And the adults was talking, and I ended up picking up that story. My dad has never claimed to be biracial. My dad never spoke about his dad because you don't know who his dad is. He never spoke about that situation at all. I don't think everybody in the family knows. I don't think my sister knows the story. Anyway, biracial and mixed are new terms to me developed via social media. I agree with you, Monica. That's what I'm saying. I never really heard these terms. Back when we had to come together. First of all, in the beginning, let's go back right after slavery. There's a lot of our story that aren't being shared. And because of the break in the family structure today, you don't even have your grandmothers and your great grandmothers and great grandfathers telling the stories anymore. Fortunately for me and some of us, we had our family members. You know, we were there to listen to the stories. I had people tell me, well, how you know your family member's not lying? I'm like, what? Like, when did we start not even believing our own fucking family members? But I get it, right? I get it. Certain people have certain family structures and circumstances that has happened to them that will make them not trust anyone in their family. But everyone didn't have that type of family structure. Okay? So I guess it's a valid question to an extent to those who could wrap their head around somebody in your family just telling stories, just sitting around telling stories. So we have a group of black people who just want to sit around just telling stories about the white man. My grandmother was afraid of white people. I tell that story all the time. Like, I'm talking about literally up until the day she died. She was afraid of white people because she's seen what they could do. And not only what they could do, but what they have done. My grandmother have been there doing lynchings. See, this shit isn't as far away as some of y'all think. We got people on here talking about, well, that was slavery, and slavery happened so long ago. And if you have a family member, which some of us do, we have family members who have witnessed actual lynchings, right? Actual fucking lynchings. That would be my grandmother. Now, my grandmothers aren't living today, of course, right? But in my lifetime, my grandmothers and great grandmothers were living. I'm just a decade from some of you. I'm just 10 years from some of you, the most 20 years. And so what I'm saying to you, that if this shit didn't happen that long ago, my grandmother told me a story about her grandmother. Her grandmother was a slave. My grandmother's grandmother was a slave. She told me when slavery ended, her grandmother was a child, was maybe about 7 years old. Now, imagine this, because I'm quite sure some of us can remember when we were 7. And we most definitely will be able to remember things that were tragic. We will definitely remember seeing black men being hung and dragged, set on fire. We remember things like that. Those are things that'll be etched in your brain. So my grandmother's grandmother told her the stories. My grandmother didn't in her lifetime have also seen lynchings. She didn't see slavery, but she definitely saw lynchings. Okay. We need to make a new community where black people have normal standards, where good is good and bad is bad, not one where it's bad is good and good is bad. I agree with you. Wow, that makes so much sense. Right now, Spacely, man, welcome, by the way. Um, you're right about that. In today's society, we have this thing called don't judge me kind of thing. And they saying, don't judge me, you know, how you know what I'm doing is bad. It's not bad for me. It's because we don't have community anymore. See, there was a time when you was judged for the, not because of you per se, you were judged because how it affect the entire community. They didn't want us to be having all these goddamn children by different men because it affected us as a whole. And we are witnessing that today. Black women, this is an example. You might not be a single parent with a lot of kids by a lot of baby daddies. But in our society as a whole, we all are thought that way. We all are judged based on other people's actions, whether we do it or not. See, we as a community understood that back then. Right? If you go into the history books, you don't even have to, if you don't like to read, maybe you need to start putting out some of these documentaries that explains to you what has taken place through the years. So directly after slavery, you have to understand during slavery, we did everything. We took care of children, the farms, their households. We created everything. Everything. Right? We were the mercenaries. We built the homes. We created the tools that they even used against us. We did that. That was our jobs. That's what we was free labor, right? How could we do it? Even whether they taught it to us, and in most hands, we came here with knowledge of growing shit, right? Because we had to do that in Africa. We didn't have some of the tools and things that they had here. But long story short, because I don't want to get into that, directly after slavery, that's why they fought against slavery, especially in the South. Them people couldn't do shit. Everybody didn't have slaves, by the way. The ones who didn't have slaves worked along with slaves. Okay, there's a lot of shit they don't tell us. A lot of shit that wasn't told to us in the history books. Now, in my day, and mind you, I'm only 50 years old. I'm not that old, right? They wouldn't even teach us. I didn't know anything, and I'm talking about through education. I'm not talking about through my family. I'm not talking about my family, my mother, my uncles, through their education. I'm talking about through the school system. They never taught me about anything with Black history. Black history was in the end of the textbook And we never got to it. Never. I've never had a teacher tell me anything about Black history ever. And I remember the last day of school, I remember seeing it in the back of the textbook, in the history books. I would get there, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to start teaching us about this. Nah, never got to it. That's why a lot of white people, see, we might know a lot of our history. White people don't believe it. Because white people believe in the system. Why would they lie to us? They wouldn't lie to us. No. We're telling them, hey, they're not telling the truth. They believe the system because as far as they're concerned, the system work on their behalf most of the time. Even poor white people, the system works for them. Right? Like that white woman who called the police on that bird watcher. Did y'all see how even before she called the police, she told that man, I'm going to call the police on you and say that you threatened me. See, she knows she could do that. She knows she could do that. And she thought that Black man would just walk away out of fear. And a lot of people have. Right? If he would have been a Black man with a goddamn warrant, he would have jetted. Right? Come on, let's be honest. Let's be honest about the shit that's being captured and being placed out there. If you have a warrant for your arrest, and it might be something minor, it might be something you didn't do, but there's a warrant out for you because you didn't show up to court for whatever reason, right? You ain't calling the police. You ain't sticking around for the police. And see, they think all of us are criminals. That's why they threaten us with the police. They threatened us with the police. That white woman told him, I'm going to call the police. And I'm going to tell them that you threatened my life. And then she actually got on the phone and did it. And you see, she's so bold because she knows he was recording her. She knew, but she didn't care because she knows that most of the time, the system is going to work on her behalf. The only reason she's losing right now is the outcry. Her company realized, hey, we're going to lose money if people realize that we have a racist working for us. Other than that, they probably behind the scenes telling her, oh, yeah, we wouldn't be doing this, but, we have to keep up appearances. They probably telling her, sorry to hear that. They offering her condolences and all that bullshit. That's right, Jethro. She didn't get in trouble for it. Let me see. The negative rap music really messed it up for both of our genders. Now, I agree to an extent on that. I've been saying that the music, but we can't just blame it on the rap music. Because, I think what happened, it's not so much as the negative. We don't have enough balance. We don't have enough positive. We don't have any music talking about love anymore. Right? If we had music out there just as equal as the rap music that'll tell you about love, then it'll be okay. It'll balance out. But we don't have that anymore. So you got to go back to listening to the old school stuff just to get a sense of what love is. I bet you most people, young people, especially millennials, the younger millennials and these zennials, they don't even know what love is, yo. When they think about love, they're probably thinking about their mothers, their fathers, even if they might not even be thinking about that. They don't know what love is, and you don't know how to treat a man or a woman because you really learned that shit from either watching your parents or through the music. I learned about love and how I wanted to be treated through my parents, of course, but also through the music. That was music. So we need a balance. There needs to be a balance. We we need to show, we can see the thuggish side, because we got to understand we do have a group of people who speak that way, who talk that way. So I don't judge those people. And when I said those people, I'm talking about those who speak and talk that way, right? I'm not saying it in a negative way. Please don't think I am. And then we have, um, so I'm not against, I listen to all music. I listen to hip hop. I listen to rap. I listen to country. Not so much these days. When I listen to country, it's the old country, the 80s countries, 70s and 60s country. I'm talking about the Kenny Rogers and shit. This shit today, I don't know what this shit is. The country today is like pop. I don't even know. I don't even know what the hell. Um, but yeah, we need to have some balance. But I agree with you though. The music, wow, the music, yo. Even my children, me having conversation with my children as they growing up. I know what type of music I listen to. My children listen to the music that I listen to, because they grew up listening to what I listen to, which is all music. But I started paying attention to what the music was saying, right? When I started realizing kids know more than we think. So then I would have to explain, what's going on in the song, and explain to them that this isn't necessarily real life. That's what my mother taught. That's how she taught me. That's how I taught my kids. I say, hey, this is just like a movie, right? You say, this is a movie. This is in real life. Well, you have to do that with the songs as well. You have to say, hey, this is necessary real life. When you fall in love with a woman, you're not going to pat her on her ass and call her a bitch. Come here, bitch. You know what I mean? All women not going to take that as a term of endearment. Some women will. And that's probably because of the music. And some women not, though. Okay. So who do you think I should listen to as far as insight into why things change for the worse? We had to have a better reputation at one point in time. So let me get back to because your question is a good question. Back in the day, right after slavery, like I said, we was doing everything. So they had to rely on us still. It's just that a lot of us ended up getting sucker punched, irregardless, right? Because right after slavery, they then started doing sharecropping, right? Because those people still wanted to make business with their farms, they still wanted free labor, and they decided how they can make that happen. They were still creating laws that they can still have slaves. Like if they had a slave that they had to let go for the new rules, they would come up with these new laws that would say where the children, if they was under a certain age, they still owe this or that. Then so they came up with the black people and said, look, you can stay here, because black people didn't have nowhere to go. Just imagine all your family members, everything about you came from this one master. Then we find out in June that we're free, even though we was already free before that. I think the year before that, right? Um, we find out and they say, okay, all slaves have to be off or the government coming through. And then they say, okay, y'all got to go. And you had nowhere to go, nowhere. Nowhere to go. The only people you could go to was the slave masters who allowed you, who treated you like family, which that's why slavery didn't last much longer. Y'all do know love and all that bullshit that started happening between the slave and the people who they were, the white people. Love and all that bullshit. Children will be born. Christianity is one of the reasons why slavery ended, because people started becoming Christians and thinking, oh, this shouldn't be this way. Some people believe that the Bible says you should have slavery. And then most people said, no, you don't treat people this way. There was two waves of slavery too, right? That a lot of people don't understand. There was two waves. There was the first wave where slavery wasn't as bad as the second wave. The second wave is when it got bad, baby. The second wave was a group of white people trying to hold on to their wealth at any cost. That's when they would cut off people's feet. That's when they was chasing you down, searching for you because slaves started running up north, trying to become free. And these people was ruthless because they didn't want all their slaves following suit. They would make examples. The second wave of slavery was horrible. They were doing a lot of murdering and killing. And you would think, well, why would they kill their own merchandise? Well, there was a reason behind it. Okay. And by the way, they did think of us as merchandise. We need to be very clear about that. See, I heard some people say, well, I would rather be slaves. I don't think you know what a slave is if you say some stupid shit like that. People say that slavery is like what we do today, having to get up and go to work. But see, you don't really have to get up and go to work now, do you? You may say that you have to get up and go to work so you can survive, so you can have the nice things you have. But if you think slaves had anything, they didn't get paid. So they got up at a crack of a whip and went and worked their fingers to the bone. And by the way, black men, some of the bullshit I've heard some of y'all say, let me tell you, black men didn't live to see 19 doing slavery times. The majority of black boys died before they turned 19 years old. And how did that happen? They worked you to the bone. They didn't see you being valuable after a certain age anyway. You became more of a threat because now you have the muscles and shit that you've been building for all those years. Now you're becoming a man. You might start a family, which, of course, if you want better for your family, you would fight. These are some things I don't think a lot of people understand. You know, I'm talking about within our own, in our own community. But anyway, I want to get off the slavery, but I just want to say we need to understand what slavery was. And see, I'm from the South. I'm from Louisiana. Now, you younger Louisianians, right? I see that you see things a little different. That's because you're not really paying attention. A lot of you, you know, now the N word is being used way more. So you don't know if somebody calling you the N word to be the N word or if they calling you the N word to be a part of the hip hop culture. See, but in my day, there was a clear understanding, baby. When somebody called you the N word, there was nothing but hate in their hearts. And also, when they called you a boy or gal, see, in Louisiana, those are the terms they use, baby. That's racial terms. They'll call you, come here, boy. Come here, gal. Come here, gal. I'm telling you, man. And somebody called me, I'd rather them call me the N-word than to call me a gal. Because, see, I might wonder, what's up, nigga? You know, they might be on that hip-hop bullshit. But as soon as you call me gal, I'm ready to knock somebody in their fucking head. Okay. Anyway, so, look, my baby then went to sleep, y'all. He is knocked out. So, let's get back. So I was talking about we not understanding history. We need to know our history because we was here way before slavery. But when I say we, I'm not talking about in massive droves like some people are saying, right? You may be from somebody who was here already. I was here. My family is Native American. And by the way, what is Native American? It doesn't necessarily mean they were originally from India, like the Indians. Then we have Indians, right? They called them the Native Americans who was here. They came from somewhere else way before slavery time, way before they started to before Columbus, aka the bullshit that they spread it. Columbus discovered America, bullshit, right? There was people here already. That's why that's why people say, how could you discover some shit that was already here? How could you, when there was people already there set up? That was black people from Africa who was already in this area, in the territory. Okay. But anyway, so, and there's a story about that. I think the guy's name is Anthony something. I'll look it up for y'all. But that was the guy who ended up becoming the first millionaire. And it's because originally what he was doing is he was taking people into territories safely, right? If somebody wanted to travel the territory and they end up in these Native American areas, you get killed, right? Because they was killing Native Americans. Native Americans started taking up arms and protecting themselves and their land, right? The government did a lot of dirt to Native Americans. They did a lot of sneaky shit. Okay. Now, how is it though that there were blacks who would be able to move amongst Native Americans? Native Americans was able to move amongst blacks. Okay. That's why they got these Native Americans that are still here. How do you think they survived? If you think they were Native Americans and they through slavery that they wasn't slaves, then you would be wrong. They blended in with the Africans. Otherwise, they would murder. They murdered Native Americans for their land to make sure they had no one who could claim that the land was theirs. They murdered them all. Okay. The ones who survived ended up blending in with black people. Their skin is already like ours anyway, right? Their skin colors gets darker and tougher during the summer months. They ended up blending in. That's why they do have a lot of black people or Native American, and they claiming to be, well, my mom is part Indian. That shit is true. All Native Americans wasn't from Mexico. That was, what is a Native American? I guess you didn't have to define what that is. That was people who was here prior to America becoming America, prior to the United States, right? Native Americans are people who was here already before the discovering of America. I do have French ancestry. I'm from Louisiana. I have people, family members from Germany, France, Spain, Haiti. Yes. But that's the makeup of Louisianians, right? Most of us who are from Louisiana, we have a makeup of, that's our makeup. The Haitians, where the blacks came in, the black portion came in from Haiti. Okay. Back then, Louisiana, remember, Louisiana was purchased. Louisiana, they purchased Louisiana to make it a part of the United States. So Louisiana, or that area before it was called Louisiana, right, was completely different than the rest of the nation. So believe it or not, there were free black people. That's why Louisiana ended up the way it is. It's really harsh with racism back then because of black people being prosperous, right? You was able to own land. You was able to do a lot of things under the queen. Yeah, very mixed. Under the queen, believe it or not, there was a lot of things that that territory was able to do that was different. So Louisiana has a history unlike the rest of the United States. If you go back, okay, they actually had to come and make free black people. They turned them into slaves. They made them into slaves. And there was a lot of white people who was, of course, like when you see a black person doing better than you, owning shit that you don't own, of course you don't like it. When somebody could come in and say, hey, we're going to put you in a class above somebody and we're going to base it on their skin color. Yeah. But anyway, yes, Louisiana has a different history than the rest of the United States. But so that's when somebody say, are you biracial, are you this, or you that, how you get your blue eyes? See, I know my family knows its history. My grandfather, my mother's father ended up coming to the United States when he was a boy, when he was young. His parents came from Germany. So yes, that side, and in fact, the last name is Ferguson. If you even trace the last name Ferguson, you'll see that's a German last name. That's a German name. Okay. But yes, my grandfather was a boy when he ended up coming over here. My grandmother's, on the other hand, my grandmother, Native American. And if you had ever seen, I can show you a picture of my grandmother. She looks like a Native American. And my grandmother's mother, which is my great grandmother, looked like a Native American. The long, strong black hair. See, so now my grandmother on my father's side of the family, also Native American. Native American and Haitian. Okay. When I don't know what queen it was back then, the queen, okay, but remember Louisiana was under wasn't under, it was under the rule of France. Now, mind you, I'm using the term Louisiana, right? I'm using the term Louisiana, but I'm not sure what the territory was called. You remember before they start giving states individual names and shit like that. But yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. I guess I could look it up. I never I never went to look it up or nothing like that. That's a good question. Let me see. Aren't there many regions in Louisiana with people your skin color bomb? I'm half Haitian myself, but my Haitian side ranges from light to dark. I agree with your space, though. Yeah, in Louisiana, we are so mixed. It's mixed skin tones, everything. You know what I mean? Like everything. And you know what shocked me, especially somebody walked up to me and asked me, was I think they asked me, was I Haitian? No, I forget. I think it was either they asked me, was I from Haiti, which shocked me, right? Because I back then I didn't know a lot of the history neither, right? Um, I was shocked because I'm thinking that's the first time someone asked me, am I like from, you know, especially based on just my looks. And that's when they explained to me. They was like, no, sister, there's a lot of range of skin tones in Africa and in Haiti. But then again, you know, the Haitians ended up mixing with the French also. So that makes sense to me. Back then, I didn't know that though. I was just a United States motherfucker, you know, raised and born, bred in the United States, who didn't have the history. There was not the internet back then. There's a lot of things we could find out with a click of our goddamn, we're typing some shit in the Google search. There's a lot of shit we could find out. Back then, we didn't have all of that, right? If you didn't go and get a book, hear about a book, and then go and get it and read it yourself, you just didn't know. Or if one of your family members who read the books educated you on it. Like I knew about Martin Luther King through my family. So my mother's side of the family, my mother, they was, because they was into religion, they was with Martin Luther King. My mother I had never known anything about a Malcolm X until I was an adult. And not until the goddamn movie came out. I was in a movie, me and my husband was married. We ended up going to see Malcolm X. We had to drive 2 hours to go see the movie. Okay. I'm telling y'all, there was black movies. When black movies came out, you was lucky if they came out in your area, depending where you were. Where we lived in Missouri at the time, we had to drive. They wouldn't even put a black movie on post. We had to drive all the way to Columbia, Missouri, to the mall to go and see Malcolm X. Okay. And I had never heard his name before. And even when I started talking to my mother about it, she didn't know anything about him neither. My mother never assumed that Malcolm X was a criminal, right? Because you was either for the religious side, which was Martin Luther King, or you was for what they, the people who was protecting their families. All Malcolm X and them were doing was protecting their communities. And I think I'm not even gonna lie, and I know it's gonna sound bad, because deep down in my heart, I'm like, I wish we didn't have to come to this. We need to be some Malcolm X motherfuckers today, yo. That's some real shit. They coming in, they killing us, and they don't have no fear of killing us. None. I watched yesterday on Facebook, somebody was recording because they're marching, and is that what they call it? What do they call it? Because they wasn't actually marching. What is it called when they're out there protesting? Okay. So there's this woman, she's recording a protest, calling people to come out to protest, right? So I'm watching the protest live, and I'm scared for these people. I'm worried for these people, and I'm also proud of them in a sense. But I also know that this ain't gonna get nowhere. Protest, right? If somebody don't sit down and come up with a plan, protesting is nothing. People used to protest in order to get a seat at the table. So even if we protest, who is going to sit at the table? If we protest and they say, okay, you got a seat at the table, who's going to the table on our behalf? That's why protesting really don't make any sense right now. But let me just say this. I was feeling, I'm watching them protest, and all of a sudden I see these cops for no reason start shooting beanbags. I guess if they shooting beanbags now, from my understanding, of course, shooting anything is not going to be something that tickles when it hits you. It's going to be painful. Shooting beanbags. I thought we had a right to protest in this country. So unless somebody is tearing shit down, burning shit, or stealing shit, why did these police officers decide to shoot in a crowd of unarmed people? You know why? Because they know they can. They know they can. All of them might not want to do that shit, but one of them who might be standing amongst the rest of the officers, they decide to, hey, I'm going to get some shit popped off. So they decide to shoot. Then there'll be a chain reaction, you see? Because the other cops didn't even know somebody was going to shoot. So they hear a shoot, right? They hear something fire off. Then all of a sudden they start protecting themselves, firing. This shit could be very dangerous. BZ, what's going on? Oh, thank you, Books. Do I have 1,000 subscribers? I don't even know. Books, how you been, baby? BZ, how you been? Things are slowly changing for our group for the better. I don't know. See, that's what I don't know, Spacely. Because I've seen better. Like, I've seen better. So, what do I see that's changed for the better? I was seeing us doing better, right? The opportunities that we all have, way better. I remember when, before affirmative action, I remember when you was lucky if you got a job. They would give somebody in their family members, which seems fair, right? It seems like you would hook up your family members with jobs. But when these industries would just lock out Black people as a whole because they don't want you to do nothing better, even if you could do the job, they don't give a shit. There was some people who just was against Blacks because they really truly believe all we were good for was being slaves. We got our own people being against affirmative action. You know what they did? They decided to attack our pride. They know that we are very prideful people, and our dumbasses fell for it. So I hear Black people, when I hear you Black people, when y'all motherfuckers be talking about, we don't need no affirmative action. I don't need, listen, yes, you need affirmative action. We all need affirmative action. It's sad that we need it. Talking about I could get the job without it. No. How you gonna get the job without affirmative action if they decide just based on your skin color, they're not even gonna give you an opportunity? Like people don't even know what affirmative action is, and that's why you think you don't need it. Oh, Bob, but they'll hire you. What do you mean they'll hire you? No, they'll hire their family members, their neighbors, family members. Talk about no money come first. No, they still gonna make their money. They're still gonna make their money no matter who is making the product. Seems like we're going to have to get drastic as much as yes, we are. And it's sad, BZ. I feel so sad even saying it. Yo, because you thinking people gonna die. There will be people who gonna die on no, and I don't care what color you are. I just it saddens me to know that somebody gonna die, whether you white, black, Native American, Spanish, French. Like to me, why do we have to go to those levels just to be treated fairly? My thing is, if there's a person who don't want to deal with others, right? You don't want to deal with black people, or there's black people don't want to deal with white people, then don't. Then don't. There's a lot of black people who never even seen in person a black person, in case y'all didn't know. There's certain areas in this country where there's hardly any blacks, and the blacks, they keep them in certain areas. I think we don't pay attention to that. Most of us only know what happens in our lives. If you live in a New York, a big major city like New York, of course you're running into all people. But do you think it's possible that there's black people, white people in New York who may not deal with black people at all? I do. Because we don't have a lot of black people working in certain industries. Like they're going to keep being murdered. I'd rather die defending than to continue to be murdered. I agree, BZ. These people are, yo, I watched that video. I didn't watch it all the way through. Like I didn't see the man die, like because my heart can't take it. The last person I watched die was that Eric Gardner guy. I watched this man. To me, it felt like I could see his soul leave his body. Right? That's how I felt. And his condition seemed to me a little quicker. Because it seemed like 1 minute he was like, I can't breathe. And the next minute he wasn't moving. Now he was a big man, so I guess he was out of breath quicker, right? They timed this, said that police officer, when people was telling him get off his neck, did you see how this nigga, his ego was like, you don't tell me what to do. The dude talking about I can't breathe seemed like he posted up for real on his neck. They said that he was on that brother's neck for 9 minutes. 9 minutes. That man sat there fighting. I can't even imagine. Like the worst things to me, the way of dying to me would be drowning, which is like suffocation, right? It's almost like you're drowning, and burning. And I can't imagine drowning or being suffocated for 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Fighting just to breathe with your hands behind your back. You can't even try to fight. You know, like if somebody put a plastic bag over your head, you trying to fight and get the plastic bag off your head, right? This man couldn't even fight to get this man off his neck. He had nothing in him. That was no reason to even be on his neck. I'm like, what the hell? That was murder, no matter which way you look at it. And I hope that motherfucker catch corona and fucking be dead next week. I'm sick of this shit. They got too many of them walking around after murdering us. They've killed little kids and got away with this shit. This shit is getting to be too much. And somebody, our egos within our community, though, see, that's the problem. Within the black community, black and brown community, egos is what's fucking it up. That's what had even fucked up even back then. If you go through our history, Malcolm X, you go through the history of even Martin Luther King, if you go through the histories of when these people were doing things, you'll recognize that it was easy for them to tear our leaders away from us. All they had to start doing is boasting people's egos, boosting their egos. Oh, Martin Luther King is this, and Martin, like we knew he was a great man for what he was doing, right? Then we had two strong men going at each other because they both had different ways of handling things. Instead of them coming together and say, okay, you're going to do it that way, we're going to do it this way, but our goal is this. Their egos made them against each other. See, a lot of people don't even know, a lot of young people don't know, when Martin Luther King died, he was not popular amongst black people. They had damn near destroyed him. Martin Luther King was not popular amongst black people when he ended up getting assassinated. People had to turn their backs on him. Black people. People was tired of the turn the other cheeks. See, now you come in the 60s, people was able to do that, right? We had no choice on certain things, and the churches was backing him, and the church people saying no violence, and they had a plan in place. But then in the 70s, you got a different group of men and women, right? You got the men who coming back from the war. So let me tell you something, baby. Martin Luther King, by then, the people coming back from the war was like, look, I just came back from fighting. I am not turning no cheeks to nobody. Give me a rifle. Let's protect our community. So then you come up with the pro-blacks, the proud to be black. And Martin Luther King wasn't really talking about that. He was talking about unifying, and you know what I mean? But then there was people saying, wait a minute, I gotta blend in just to be accepted. Why can't I just be a proud black person? Why can't I just be proud? You know what I mean? Why can't I wear my afro? And why can't I do this? And why can't I do that? So Malcolm X was more along those lines. You see what I'm saying? So it's crazy. Is okay if I stream this on my channel? Of course. Books. Did you want to come up? Anyway, I just wanted to come up. I'm like, should we give up on our community? And who is the community? Because people always ask that question. Even I was asking that question. Like, who is the community? And so when I say community, I'm not even going to limit it to just black people, but I will say that, let me say this, because to me, let me tell you how this is going to work for us. There is not going to be a plan that works for black people alone. We need allies. You're going to need allies. We've always need allies, and everybody need allies. So to think that just black people, we're going to do it by ourselves, we're going to just do it by ourselves, that ain't going to happen. You're going to have some allies. That's the way this shit works. So I do not alienate anyone. If they are on our side, if they are willing to put in the work, and if they are willing to use their white privilege on the behalf of us, then why would we put them down? But at the same time, though, we need to let those people understand that they cannot speak for us in all cases. So they can speak on our behalf to their people. They cannot speak on our behalf because they don't even understand. I would venture to say that white people just don't understand, yo. because they've never experienced some of the things that we have experienced. You know, white people don't have to try to figure out how do they educate their kids on how to make it to the store and come back alive. And then we got some black people talking about it'll be a black man who kill him. It'll probably be a black man who kill him. And that's possible. It's possible that a black man will probably kill us quicker than a white man because we are around blacks. Whites, it's the same for whites, right? Black people not killing whites. Whites are killing whites. Latinos are usually killing Latinos or black. Well, they're in our community. It just depends, right? Asians are killing Asians. Hawaiians are killing Hawaiians. That's how it works because that's who we live around. Hey Raiders, how you doing? No, we shouldn't. It's those that care and want to see people do better, even if toes are stepped on or feelings are hurt. Let truth be told and justice and honesty prevail. I agree with you, BZ. Like, it's almost like, you know, there's some people. So I think I told y'all a while back, there have been white people who helped me get through certain situations, right? Certain jobs, certain things that I wanted to get done. Right now, if something was going on in my community, I could call somebody right now. And it's not gonna be a black person, yo. It's gonna be white people. And they'll help me. Okay. And I'm not saying because black people won't help, but I will say that, you know how we all, when we see one of our own, we think, okay, this is gonna be good. I reach out to this person and this person gonna help. I'm gonna tell you through honesty, I'm gonna be very honest. I realized that when you get somebody black in power, they'll reach out, they'll help white people quick with the quickness. But for some reason, they're trying to stay away from black. And I think they don't want it to look like they do a lot of good for black because it can hurt them. And so I say that I know I can reach out to some white people who are, long as what I'm trying to do is beneficial, they can see that is a good thing. You know what I mean? They will help me get it done. They'll help me get it done. So in my should I say in my lifetime, it has been white people who have helped me get further along. But they also have the opportunities, right? They are able to tell you when a job is opening. They're able to push my resume up further. You know what I mean? They're able to get into that office and put my resume right directly on the desk. Or they're able to reach out to a nonprofit or a bank and say, hey, this nonprofit needs this funding. They're able to do that. The only thing about white people when it deals with black people is that when they try to speak on our behalf, they don't have the true understanding. To a degree that helps, right? Because they don't have to be very emotional. They can just stick with the facts. But sometimes we need some emotion. We as black people, we feel like our emotions is our benefit. And a lot of times our emotions is a negative. It's our downfall. White people don't understand. We don't understand that. White people think differently than we do. White people want to see the facts. They want to see it on paper. They want to see that A plus B equals C. You know what I mean? And we want to touch their hearts. we want to reach out to their righteousness. We want them to see that righteousness will prevail, like you said, BZ, right? We want honesty to prevail. See, that's that blackness. Let me tell you, white people are not thinking that way. They don't. They will look. They don't give a shit. Religion has come into our lives. Religion has got us thinking that justice will prevail. You know what I mean? Like we thinking bullshit, like hard work will prevail, and we know this shit ain't true. They got people who ain't work hard a day in their goddamn life running this country. They the ones with all the goddamn money. So that's the disconnect right there. We got white people who are never, they don't have to educate their kids on how to deal with police officers. And they can, that's because they can say whatever they want to a police officer and they're not thought of as a threat. And here I am having to make sure that my children understand that yes, you're in America and yes, you have rights, but I want you to understand that when you get stopped, please don't let them know that you got rights. Don't mention that you got rights. Because them motherfucking police officers are dumb as fuck when it comes to rights. And plus, even if they knew it to be a fact, they don't give a damn. You come across a police officer who woke up on the bad side of the bed that day, you might end up on the wrong side of his gun. That's how simple this shit could be. So we have to educate my sons. Look, please don't have me blowing up no whole motherfucking state. Tiptoeing through the night. Please don't have your mommy going crazy like that. Please just, remain silent. Even remaining silent, though, could get you in trouble, right? The cop can ask you, what's your name? And you can just simply give him your ID. And he could take that as you being just rude. Do you think we need to separate? Wow, that's a good question. Because if I had the opportunity to separate, I would separate. Yes. Separation gotta be though fair, right? Separate and don't come in our area. If we separate, now see, this is what the problem was before when we were separate. Remember, we were supposed to be separate but equal. The equal never came into play. And not only that, we were separate, but not really. We were separate from them, but anytime they wanted to come on our side and burn our shit down and rape our people or steal our kids and kill them and hang people, see, that what they wasn't separate from us. We were separate from them. And that was a problem. But if we had a separation where, look, there's a few states that are just for black and brown people, and there's a few states that's over there for the people who don't want to be around black and brown people. And then we have the states where you can mix, right? Those who don't care. But in each area, we are able to prosper, right? We're able to have our grocery stores, our banks. We're able to do all of this, and nobody else controls it. You can't tell us that we're separate and equal, but then the white person controls our money, our banking system, because see, we will never be equal, right? Whenever they decide to not allow trucking to come in our area, when they see us being beneficial and prospering, and they get jealous and they want a piece of it, see, that's when war. See, so the separation shit could only work if we treated it as if each area was another country. If that makes sense to you. Like North Korea can't go to South Korea and vice versa. Just without a passport. If we would handle shit like that. And then within our own areas, we're given equal everything, right? We have opportunity to our elections, our own elections. We have our own everything. It'll be beneficial. Let us deal with our people the way we want to deal with them. Let us raise our children the way we want to raise them. I think it would be better. We did better to a degree. We did do, certain communities did better, but there was some negativity also, right? Like my dad, the schools didn't get the right books. We wouldn't get books until they was way outdated. The phone ring, but I don't hear this one. We wouldn't get this. Our schools, they wasn't upkeeping them, right? I remember walking through a school that my dad and my aunts and uncles went to, and remember in the 60s, my dad went to school in like in the 50s. So in the 60s, I was born in the 69. Some of the schools were still up in the 70s, right? Um, and yeah, the schools just wasn't up to par. Yes, Bob, we need our own resources. Yeah, we need our own everything. If we did that, and I think it could be done. You know, they got these white nationalists, by the way. If you listen to a white nationalist, like I have, I had a conversation with them, and man, they just want to be separate. Now, of course, they got their own racist reasoning, right? They have their racist uh, beliefs and things like that. But I'm okay with that. Listen, I'm okay with a white person who don't want to deal with me. You don't want to deal with me. You don't want to deal with my family. I'm okay. Don't deal with me. Not on a negative level, no on a positive. Just don't deal with us. But see what happens though through history. Remember when they burned down what's the name of that area? That Wall Street, Black Wall Street, and all them homes and killed some people. Y'all know they did that out of jealousy, right? They started noticing that the blackies, right back then we used to dress nicely. Everybody was taking care of each other. You see, we had our own doctors, our own lawyers, we had our own everything, including our own bank, and our money stayed in the community, right? And the bank gave loans and things like that to ourselves. We had nobody else we had to pay, and everybody was able to prosper. People was able to have jobs. You know what I mean? Yeah, Black Wall Street. And they saw them people over there, black people doing well. Did you know the white cops was able to come in the black community and even tell the black cops what to do and not to do? So we really wasn't separate. If they wanted to come over in our community and do their criminal activity, y'all know that's what they do. They go into black communities to do their criminal activity. Then they go back into their white little neighborhoods and shit and talk about how the crime is high in our area. Well, the crime is high in our area because you come your ass over here committing your crimes. You coming over here to buy your drugs. They give us the drugs to sell so they can buy them from us, but they don't want the selling of the drugs in their community. You see how they do that shit, yo? They make sure that you gonna have to be a drug dealer. You're gonna have to be a drug dealer to feed your family. And so we're gonna give you the drugs just so you can give them to us. So you can sell them to us. So even though we the ones committing the crime, you gonna be the one to go get locked up for the crime. It's crazy. This shit is crazy. And this is where we live. And so there used to be a time when I would have said no separation. But now, yo, too many of them are murdering us using this law bullshit, and they're getting away with it. And I don't know why people want to talk about they fed up now when the one that got me was that 12-year-old boy, yo. That's when I knew that they could kill any of us. They got away with killing that little boy who was in the park playing with his toy gun. And they even criminalized him. He was pointing a gun at people. Bitch, it was a toy gun. He was in the park where they do it. They run in it wasn't like he was on the street in neighborhoods, just going street to street, pointing it at motherfuckers. And people was getting shot at. It wasn't like he was shooting a BB gun in people's windows and shit. This was a toy gun. And he was in the park, and they killed that little boy, yo. We're going to do something. Ladies, I hate to say it. We're going to do something. We're going to do it as a group. It's going to be something. We either going to have to deal with it with our money, or we're going to have to start taking up arms. You want to see the gun industry change? Start buying your guns legal. See how quick as shit the rules and the regulation of the gun industry will change when black people start getting guns. I'm telling you, if you don't have a criminal record and you're able to get you a gun, go and get you a legal gun. They're not that expensive. We're gonna have to be how you say the word? Just I can't even say the word. We're gonna have to actually plan out. The word start with an S. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't say it. But anyway, we're gonna have to plan out everything that we do. And we have to know how to get to the point in which we want to get to. And then we're gonna have to stick with it. And it don't even have to take where we have to really buy guns to use them. You're gonna have to buy them guns though. You're gonna have to buy them guns. And then on top of that, your money. Because in case y'all didn't know, Martin Luther King, the things they did, yo, it was a hardship. But you know where they hit that area was with the money. Remember the busing. Remember? We're able to get on buses and shit because we hit them hard. Yeah, I know how to spell it. Look, I was about to spell it and shit, but I can't pronounce it. Can't pronounce it. I can't pronounce that word to save my life. Strategic. Strategic. Nah, can't do it. I don't know. It's the first portion of that word that I can't get out my mouth. Hey, Chef, how you doing? We gonna have to really everything back in the day. I'm not sure, if a lot of people know this. Y'all, people think Martin Luther King, this shit was simple. They think that it was easy. It wasn't. It was well thought out. They had to make sure that the person who ended up going to jail, that she had a clean record. She couldn't just be anybody. And they stumbled across that was planned for her to go to jail. Oh no, you're not timed out. What happened? You somebody timed you out? I don't wait, I'm gonna have to go to YouTube, yo, because I think there's a lot of things that I can't see what might be going on. So, and I might not, y'all, and because I'm not on YouTube, y'all might be posting comments that I can't see. I don't know why it does that. StreamYards, I think, don't show all the messages. So I'm gonna have to let me come to YouTube just in case I'm missing something. But I do want to say that shit was thought out. Something would happen in some area, and they would notify the NAACP, right? They would notify the NAACP, or what they were called at the time wasn't NAACP. They were called the Christian something, right? And they would try to figure out if the person who gonna go to jail, do they have a criminal record? Like, would they be able to blame this person for this, that, or the third? You also had to have what they call a dignified, clean life. Like, is she a single mother, or is do this, that, or the third? Can they prove that she was fast and loose? And they ended up planning everything out. Because look what they're doing us now. They're killing somebody, and before we even get to trial, they're already disparaging their names, dragging them through the mud. They claim that that one young man who was jogging, They claim that because he went into a place where a lot of people have gone into, he must have was there to steal. They don't have any record, any proof of anything being stolen. Then you see videos of other people going into that area, right? They started disparaging, but it would have been very difficult for us to find out about that police and his record if it wasn't for the internet, if it wasn't for the times that we live in today. Plus, it didn't matter because they had people helping them to block and hide that shit. Right? So they about to bring some charges against goddamn district attorneys and shit because there was people helping them to hide what they've done. And they used the pandemic to help them do that because they figured, okay, there's a lot of things going on. We're going to be able to hide this through all this other madness. Goddamn. Them people was walking around free after them, killing a young black man. And just imagine, this is what I think we all, both male, female, black, or white, you need to understand. Can you imagine somebody killing your son or your daughter? And you don't even have nobody you could really reach out to. And when you reach out to people, everybody is questioning everything. Do your son have a record? If they kill my son, I want to know what the fuck does it matter if he got a record? What does it matter about this? But see, that's what we have to go through as black people. We got to make sure that our children are like in the church, and then we got to make sure that our sons that they the pianist or the guitar player in the church, or he got to be the minister. He can't be nothing less. He can't be just a regular teenager, right? He can't be a teenager who write rap songs. Like if they would have harmed one of my sons, they would have been able to dig and find some poses of my kids when they were maybe about 13 years old, with them just out there just posing, right? with they friends, and me educating them. Look, hey, don't be using these weed songs. Don't be putting up these gang signs in y'all know no goddamn gang. That's what I have to tell them. You ain't in no gang. But you know, little boys repeating what they see in rap videos, what they see. And just because they take a picture doing this shit, they don't even know what them signs mean when they throwing them up. But I had to tell my sons, hey, you ain't in no gang. See, to them, they thinking, oh, well, mom, you rough. Mom, I ain't doing nothing but taking a picture. My thinking is far beyond that, though. See, because I'm thinking about people see this picture, they gonna think my son's in the gang. Yeah, they gonna help each other. They help each other, baby. Now, see, the good thing is you'll come across some who are Christians. You come across them true Christians, it weigh heavily on their heart, and they'll be the ones who expose. Now, you know that videotape of them killing Ahmaud. What his name is? Ahmaud, somebody. You know they shot that themselves. So based on what I heard in the beginning was that it was 3 of them. Because I always wondered, wait a minute, who filmed this? How did this get filmed? How did they even know to film this shit? They was chasing that young man and filming it. And then they ended up killing him. And it was caught on film. To me, I want to know who recorded it and how did it get out there? So what happened was the guy recorded it. They probably bragging about it. See, because remember this, by the time it hit the major media, it was already a month or 2 in, remember? So now they bragging. See, nobody's in jail, nobody prosecuted. You see what I'm saying? So now they bragging. They sharing that video with their friends and their friends and their friends. And then all of a sudden, one of their friends get that video and says, and then they share it with either a lawyer, they share it with others, not in their group. And that's how that shit get out there. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, they flaunted that shit. Y'all know that's how that shit happened. That's how that shit happened. Otherwise, remember, we hearing now that the police, the DA, they knew about that video in the beginning because those men thought that videotaping him going after them would be on their side. The problem is they was filming him even when he was running, trying to get away from them. He was running, trying to get away from them. And they kept following him, stopping him. And I was listening to Tommy. Tommy did something on this when it first happened. And so Tommy has another viewpoint of this shit. His viewpoint is, why did he go after the man with the gun? The man has a gun. Don't go after him. A lot of people called in on that show were saying the same thing. The man with the gun, why is he in my space with a gun? And he knows I don't have a gun. That's intimidation all by itself. And by them chasing after him, it's already in their mind, in my mind, that these people is about to harm me. They're about to hurt me. Because they not letting this shit go. I got away from them. I took a turn. They followed me. I went the other way. These people was out to murder that young man. Y'all, I'm sorry. That was intentional every way you look at it. But we got some people say, well, he shouldn't have did this. What you mean he shouldn't have did that? He was jogging. They shouldn't have never even approached him at all. But then Tommy was like, look, I would have been scared shitless. And that's what I take it as him saying, I would have noticed they got a gun. I don't have a gun. And I would have just did whatever they wanted me to do. And I see, that's why I'm not against Tommy. Because I'm like, I see his viewpoint, right? It's almost like do whatever you got to do to survive kind of thing. And don't let your ego get in the way kind of thing. But come on, y'all. Y'all know that in the heat of things, sometimes some people are not thinking along that line. You thinking fight or flight, right? And when he tried to flee, when he tried to leave, they wouldn't let him. They boxed him in. We don't know what they was telling him. They probably like, we're going to kill you, nigga. We're going to kill you. And he probably felt like he had to go. And you know what I mean? And shit, we just don't know. It's too much we don't know. But what we do know is criminal in itself. Because, see, everybody want to know the whole story. You ain't going to never know the whole story. But what we do know is that people who had no business chasing this man because they couldn't do no citizen arrest because that shit not even legal in the state of Georgia unless you have actual proof of somebody doing something, which they did not have. So that means everything based on them following him, they should get hit with stalking charges. They should get hit with murder. They hunted him down. Yes, they did. They hunted him down. They was out there to kill a nigga that day. And that's why because I don't know if he had a criminal record. Based on what I saw, they didn't say he had a criminal record. And I'm only saying that not because I care whether he had one, but is because Black people, if you don't have a criminal record, go and get you a gun. Go buy it legally. Don't go get an illegal one, because then you will get a criminal record. Go and buy you a weapon. Would I rather be dead or in jail? That's what you have to ask you. Would you rather be dead or in jail? Because in certain states, y'all got to stand your ground law. That means once you buy the gun, which you have a constitutional right to do, then shit, in certain areas, I would have mine with me everywhere I go. See, in the state I live in, you got to have a permit to carry, concealed. right? And then they play all these little games and rules when it's black people, you know, they can get you. A lot of these black people don't know this. You could be in certain areas, even though you can open carry. And I want y'all to know this as black people, we need to know the law because it's true. You could open carry. Open meaning it needs to be wide open. If for one flash of a second, your jacket covers that gun up, even by accident, they can get you for concealment. So you got to make sure it's in an area where it can be seen and it can't be concealed, even for a flash of a second, because they'll get you on that. Also, though, you need to know the laws because we got people in Delaware thinking, okay, we could open carry. We ain't got to have no permits, no nothing. I'm like, no. If you go near a school, bam, a cop can take your ass to jail. You better not be around schools and certain areas where they put these laws in place that says you cannot be in these areas with these guns. And guess what these areas always tend to be? Near black neighborhoods. Y'all know there isn't a black neighborhood that don't have a church nearby. We don't have a black neighborhood that don't have a school sitting right there in the middle of it some kind of way. We don't have this shit. So therefore, they already put rules in place that says if these niggas get guns, we're going to be able to still take their asses to jail, even if they get them legally. You know, if they have them open carry, we're going to be able to get their asses. Look, we need to know the laws on the shit that we want to do. That's why we got to do things and we need to plan shit out. If you're going to go get you a gun, which I say as soon as you turn 18, as soon as your sons get 18 and your daughters get 18, you take them down to a gun shop, Cabela's, whoever sell guns, and you go and let them get their gun. Now, of course, make sure your son and your daughter are responsible with that weapon because it could be used against them, right? We need to know we need to know this though, because if they start realizing we have guns at the same rate that they have guns, I think they'll start approaching us with a little more respect. Do you know they already know? See, as soon as they pull me over, let's say they pull me over, by the time they do a check on me, y'all know by the time they pull a car over, you already know they know who that car belongs to. Y'all know that, right? So they pull, by the time they get out of the car, before they ask you for anything, the driver for anything, they already know who that car belongs to. So I don't even know why they ask for registration and all that bullshit no more. That don't even make no fucking sense. Because they know who that car belongs to. Now, I do understand them asking you for your driving license, because just because I'm in a car doesn't mean the car is mine. But that other license, they already know you got insurance and all that shit. Them motherfuckers do not need to be asking you for that shit. They know whether that car is insured just on the goddamn license plate itself. The license plate is attached to the VIN number of the fucking vehicle. They know whether you don't have insurance or have it. Now, then they start asking you for proof. And the only reason they do that is because they could ticket you just for not having your proof available, which to me makes no fucking sense. They know whether it's insured or not, but they can still ticket you because you might not have your paperwork with you. Are you serious? Today, in today's age, they could tell me everything about my goddamn self. And then they already know everything about that car before they pull you over. Okay, so they pull you over. By the time they pull me over, if the car is in my name, they also know if I got guns or not. They know if they registered and all that shit. They can pull that up if they want to. Okay. Some of that shit, they motherfuckers already know, yo. That is what people was against. We're against the way they take their information and store it, the government themselves, because I don't think it's right that they should have all that information at their fingertips. I think you can get a rifle or shotgun at 18, but you have to be 21. Oh, I didn't know that. You got to be 18. Oh, yeah, I think you do. I think you're right. You're right. You got to be 21 to get a handgun or a pistol. At least the rule down here. You're right about that, books. Which I don't even know the difference. What's the difference between them? Well, I guess I do know the difference between a pistol. One is more, you could hide it kind of thing. So you're right. We just need to be, I think, so as soon as you turn, uh, so as you turn 21, go and get your gun. Especially you young ladies, go and get your weapons. Some of y'all against weapons. There is a need for this though, because it'll slow them down a little bit. It'll slow them down. They already think we all criminals already. Maybe they'll start thinking a little different. You know, they up there shooting at them people unarmed and everything. It don't matter if they shooting deadly force or a heavy beanbag. If they shooting rice at your ass, all that shit is painful. I thought we have the right to assemble. We have the right to protest. And for no reason, the people were just standing there saying what they were saying, and all of a sudden you start shoot, boom, boom. It's almost like they saying, well, look, we don't want to be out here all night. You know, we want to make them go home. So what we gonna do is we're gonna shoot some tear gas. That shit should be illegal. Because if we got the right to assemble, and you ain't got to be out here while we assembling, go your ass home. Everything is in the computer. You right about that. You right about that. They know a little bit too much. A little bit too much. Things that they not shouldn't be in the computer is in the computer. You be shocked. You know what I'm saying? You be shocked at what's in the goddamn computer. Some things that they're not supposed to be there. If you get a lawyer, you have to get a lawyer to get some of that shit removed. Uh-oh. Anyway, so we was talking about the community. I hate to say this, like I used to. So as you mature, you start seeing the world a little differently. And even by me talking to different people here on YouTube and the internet, period, it has shaped my thought process differently in many ways, right? I try to tell people, look, some of the things we believe is based on our own experiences, right? But then when other people come and tell you a different experience than yours, it only helps you to take in consideration their experience, right? Don't dismiss it. Just say, okay. So you will hear me say, well, in my life, this is what I've experienced or what I see. Then somebody else come along and say, well, Bob, in my life, this is what I see. I take that in consideration. I add that into my database of information. I don't dismiss what people say. Because I know for me as a fact, for me, and I'm talking about today, you know, being a grandmother and everything, because, you know, when I was a little younger, it was different. And when I was even younger, it was a lot different. I don't see as many people as I used to. When I was younger, I was more out into the world, and I dealt with people of all races. And I've seen bad on all sides. That's why you'll never hear me say anything negative about just Black people. Because whatever I've seen on the side of Black people, I've also seen on the side of white people. And so instead of me breaking that down to a racial thing, I have broken it down to a human thing, human nature. We just have some humans who are nasty. We have some humans who are bad. We have some humans that are great people, good people. You know, it has nothing to do with the race, the skin, and the color of their skin. I'm smart enough to assess that, to realize that, hey, white people, first of all, are killing white people, and Black people are killing Black people. That's a fact. Okay? So when people be like, well, you are mad at these cops, why are you not mad at when a Black man kill a Black man? Well, I am mad when a Black man kill a Black man. The Black man who killed the other Black man, though, his ass gonna go to jail. You see? He gonna go to jail, probably be put on death row, and probably be killed on behalf of the state. And then you got these police officers, the ones we supposed to trust, the ones who we think that we should trust. You call them and you might end up being committed. They might kill your ass. Can you imagine calling somebody for help? And when they get there, they realize you black and they start calling you the threat and killing you. Oh, but this has happened though. This shit has happened many times where black people have called the police for help, only to end up being either placed in jail them goddamn selves or murdered by the goddamn cops. There's been so many of us they used to say, oh, I thought that that wallet was a goddamn gun. Oh, I thought his cell phone was a gun. Or like, this is not new. This is not new in the last 10 years, 15 years. I remember there was a case in New York City. This shit happened when cell phones basically had just come out. Most people didn't even have a cell phone. They was killing motherfuckers when we was having them church phones. Hey, Warren. If a person is charged with a felony crime, they can take a DNA. God damn! I thought it was. Oh, so they done changed the rules even on that. It used to be they shouldn't be able to just grab your DNA, because you know with your DNA, they can do a lot with that. Oh, so much could be done with that. Right? Do you know there's DNA trace, right? They can get my DNA and find out that somebody in my family committed a crime that I may not even know nothing about. Right? It might be a crime that happened in Louisiana while I'm living here in Delaware. Maybe 10 years ago, somebody in my family somewhere committed a crime, and through my DNA, they could figure out, well, whoever did this crime is attached to her some kind of way. That shit is fucked up. That's fucked up. They shot somebody last night. Man, they shooting at us and they're scared. Okay. Can I tell y'all what I think has happened? Okay, because police officers used to be somebody who, at one point, I used to at least say they was brave. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what happened. That show, Cops, fucked everything up. Cause see, if you ever look at Cops, you'll see what they show. They mostly show cops running after black men. You never know what took place sometime. In most cases back in the day, they would just be starting off chasing after somebody. And black men and black boys and black girls, for some reason, we are just taught to run. Like even as a young black girl, right? Knowing I ain't committing no crimes or nothing. And we all standing out, maybe just standing out in front of the store. When a cop come, it's not so much that we run, but we disperse, right? We be like, okay, let's go. Nobody want to deal with a cop. We already know how they are. They're asking you 100 questions and shit, right? So what we would do, we would just disperse. We would leave. But they could consider that, where you going? Why you leaving? Why you running? It became to where people would they want to leave. The cop running after, not a motherfucker running from the cop. You don't even know why the cop running after you. You don't know nothing. But you know that shit, you could end up dead. I experienced brutality myself in 04. That's what I'm saying, Warren. Like, this shit is crazy. You're supposed to be able to, at least when the cops get there, be able to say, okay, now at least I'm safe. But no, you might call them yourself. I had somebody break in my house. This was years ago, and I think I may have even told the story already, right? Broken house. We already knew it was kids, right? We knew it was our son's kids. We went on vacation. Every time we would go on vacation, they were breaking our house because they knew we was on vacation, right? Anyway, we called the cops, and we called them to our address. It's our fucking house, right? And before they even start looking around and doing their investigation, they then checked all of us in the house. They running our record, right? And see, for me, because I'm not from Delaware, and I'm gonna be honest, for years I never had a Delaware license. Every chance I got, I went back home and got a Louisiana license. To me, Louisiana was my home forever. Okay, forever. So I would go back to when it was time for me when my license expired. I would go back home and I would renew my license. So when they would come out to my house, right, and check, the only reason I would know that they was checking on us, because the way they do it is kind of smooth. They'll be like, "What's your name? And and what year was you born?" I'm like, "What the hell you need all that? I'm the person reporting the shit." Then they would go to my husband, "What's your name? And what year were you born?" Then they want to know the children's name and what year they were born. I'm thinking, God damn. But the reason I knew what they were doing is because they would come back to me and tell me they can't find me nowhere in the system. So I'm like, wait a minute. What you mean, huh? What system are you looking for me in? I'm like, I'm called you because somebody broke in my house. Well, we can't find you in our system. Motherfucker, what you mean? Like, I don't have to talk to him that way, but I'm like, what you mean? You can't find me in your system. Why are you looking for me? So, they were like, we can't find you in the system. So I don't know. I that's when I realized they searching us. They searching, making sure we don't have no warrants. Because see, if they can, they gonna do whatever they not gonna do. Remember, because I live in a black neighborhood. I lived in a black neighborhood at the time. They already gonna do what they not gonna do. They not gonna take nobody to jail. They're not gonna really do no investigative work or nothing. See, they don't really give a fuck, yo. They don't never, when y'all want to know why they don't never catch the black criminal, when a black person kill a black person, when you were talking about where most of them, I think Tommy said that most black people who kill other black people, they don't get caught. Well, my question to him was, how you know it was a black person who did it then, and they didn't get caught? And number two, how you know what I mean? Like, why didn't they get caught? They're catching everybody, they're catching us most of the time. They really don't give a fuck about our community. They want us to kill ourselves. So they know they ain't gonna catch whoever's broke in the home. They're not even gonna really investigate that. But they want to see if they could take somebody black ass to jail today. So then they're gonna ask me and my family for all our information. That damn police flashlight, like a little lead bitch beating people up with their flashlight and shit, huh? That's fucked up. Let's see. The Patriot Act was in full effect. Let's see. Some way or another, 2004 was a wild year for us, everyone. Oh, was what 2004? Was that? Oh yeah, that wasn't that right after the towers and shit, right? But did you see how they attack us? They know we ain't got nothing to do with blowing up no goddamn towers and shit. But now they made the law so relaxed that yeah, they could use all kinds of laws against it. Shit that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. They're using the Patriot Act on some shit that ain't got nothing to do with, what they. This shit is crazy, yo. Why is it? Why is this only happening to black people? Because some of them don't like us. We got our own people who don't like us. If you listen around on YouTube, you will hear a lot of black people who don't like black people. And then when you get down to it, they start telling you how their mamas didn't treat them right, or how their daddies didn't treat them right, or how this. And I'm thinking to myself, look, I get it. You got a bad story that happened in your family. But I'm quite sure you have some other families that you've seen who wasn't doing all that shit. I got maced and beat with one of those big ass flashlights. That's fucked up. And you know what's weird, Warren? Once they maced you, they didn't even have to beat you. Because that alone damn near puts you on your ass. You get maced after you take a few breaths of that goddamn shit in. All kinds of reactions happen. Your eyes start burning, your nose start dripping, you can hardly breathe, so that means you're not gonna run far if you're trying to run. So I don't even understand why they didn't have to start beating you. Just like what they do, they handcuff black men and then start beating them. They shoot you and then start beating you. Did y'all see the one video? I saw a video last week. The dog, they already had the man was getting on his knees, getting down like they asked him to do. They handcuffed him. Then another one brought a dog, and the dog grabbed him by his fucking leg. They couldn't even get that dog to let that black man go. And the black man is screaming, ah! They got a white woman there filming, and she's talking about, get that dog, get that dog. And they just not even caring, really, right? And then every time he raised his head up, now mind you, his hands is already handcuffed behind him. He raised his head up while he's screaming, and there's another cop telling him, put your head down, put your head down. Like they ready to whip his ass, but a dog is constantly biting him. The dog has got a grip on him in his goddamn, right there where the muscle is, in his calf. That shit is fucked up. That's fucked up. And they're still treating him like he a criminal. Right now, they're the ones who's attacking this man. You brought a dog. Why even bring the dog? The man was already on his knees, handcuffed. By the time the other cop bringing the dog close to him. If you can't control that fucking dog, then you don't need to be the one controlling that fucking dog. Now that dog need to be shot, but you know they care more about them dogs than they do black men do. We got motherfuckers care more about dogs and cats than they do about black people. White people talking about, oh, your dog being abused. They're abusing the dog. If the cops get caught doing something to a dog, the white people call the police on the police. And they think it's all gravy when they do the shit to black people, though. And I'm telling you, it's because they look at us like we're fucking animals. They don't give a shit. Do you think they care if you light skin, dark skin? They don't give a shit. They see black, especially the racist ones. The racist ones don't see a difference. The only thing they see different is whether you're a woman or a man. They don't see that other bullshit. And that woman should be brought up on some fucking charges, the one who called on that bird watcher. Because she warned him. She threatened him. I don't even say warn. She threatened him and said, I'm going to call the police on him and telling them that you threatening me. She told him that shit. If she was threatened, she wouldn't even have the nerve to even say nothing to the man. She would have been running scared. But no, that's not what she was. She wanted to be bold. And she wanted him to know, yep, I can use the police against you right now. Then she called them fucking police. She should lose her job like she did, and she should lose every fucking thing. Okay? That's what she get. And the bitch should catch corona and die. Just like the motherfuckers who put his goddamn feet or his knee on that man's throat. Corona should be doing this motherfucking job. It's time to call Corona to the goddamn rescue. Some of these motherfuckers just need to be gone. Okay, I'm gonna take Corona as a blessing, baby. This is what I'm talking about. Corona needs to knock at some of these motherfuckers' doors and just commence to doing what they need to do. And they need to get up there with Zimmerman. Zimmerman need to catch Corona. Because see, if I was that little boy's mama, Zimmerman would not be walking on this earth, baby. And I would be in jail. Proudly, by the way. I would be in fucking jail. And yes, I would be in jail if I was his mother. I know I'm just sorry. Maybe because I'm a little more crazier. But ain't no motherfucking way a year or two ago. Remember, this nigga had the nerve to want to sell that gun that he shot that little boy with. And he marketed that way. The gun that he shot Trayvon Martin with, this nigga marketed that way to get money for it. That's when I would have went to jail. See, in the beginning, I don't know. I probably would have tried to, go let the justice system do its thing. I don't know, right? But if I had done that, then I would have had to just be like, okay, justice system didn't work for me. Cool. I don't know. But see, after that nigga flaunted that gun around, that would have been my sign right there. That nigga got to go. Damn, you had to walk around with, damn, they beat you that bad, huh? That's fucked up. That's fucked up, man. But it's not just the white women that use that shit. I posted up a video, remember, on my last channel before it got deleted. I posted up a video of me going to the Dollar General. And in Dollar General, the man threatened to call the police on me, yo. Right? And you want to know why? Ladies, because I had a big purse. I carry a big purse. I carry a big purse, especially back then, right? Because I work. And so I used to always have a laptop with me. Before I bought my large iPad, I used to always have a laptop. So my laptop is in my purse. But when I walked in a store, it wasn't even really the man. It was a white woman who started this shit. It was just this stupid ass white man who took over. So I walk in a store. I put my music in my ears like I normally do. But when I first walk in, I hear somebody say, "You can't come in here with a book bag." So I heard book bag. I assume she talking to somebody else. So I commenced to put my music in my ears and start walking around the store. But I started noticing her looking at me, right? She looked at me a certain way. And so I took my ears off because I'm assuming maybe she's talking to me. And she said, "No book bags allowed." So I look at it and I said, "Sweetie, I'm not a kid. I don't have a book bag. This is my purse." That's what I say. I said in just that way. I said, "Oh, sweetie, I'm not, I'm not school age." I know people do think I'm really young, right? I'm like, "This is my purse. Sweetie, I'm not in school. This is my purse." Because even if I was, let's say it was a book bag, which is not, it's a purse. If I'm a fucking adult, I'm assuming that when they said no book bags, they talking about children. Okay? They talking about fucking children. This just happened maybe like 5 years ago. This shit happened 5 years ago now. So I'm 50. That means I was 45 then. I was 45 then, god damn it. Anyway, so my kids was out of high school. I think my youngest had just graduated that year. Anyway, so I'm walking around, and after she told me that, I said, "Oh, I'm not a kid." I said, "This is my purse," right? I put my ears back on, I continue walking. I'm not thinking nothing of it. And then I keep bumping into this man, and I keep saying, "Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me." Then I noticed after like the fourth time, I realized I bumped into this motherfucker, the same dude, 4 times. And then I start thinking to myself, wait a minute, how could I bump into the same fool 4 times in that short period of time? And I realized, I look up and he's right there again. He's making it seem like I'm bumping into him, but he's actually bumping into me. Right? He's bumping into me. So I look and I see that he works there. So then I stop. I look at him again. I said, wait a minute. I start piecing that shit together. I'm like, wait a minute. Is this dude following me? Now I only have 2 things in my hand. Dishwasher detergent and dish washer detergent, right? One for the dishwasher itself and one for me to wash dishes in the sink. The liquid and the detergent. One of them costs $1.88 and the other one costs 99 cents. That's it. That's all I went there for. But I was walking around thinking, okay, let me see what else they have. When I noticed that this fool followed me, I didn't say, fuck it. Let me get out of here. So I go to get in a line. I notice that there's a few people in line. So I look at him again. He's looking at me. So I say, fuck this shit. I'm going to go to the next Dollar General stores right up the street. So I put that shit down, bam, and I walk out the store. My music is in my ears, and this fool runs out after me. Right? I didn't see him at first. I didn't even hear him. But I started noticing as I'm getting in my car, I noticed people in the parking lot looking at me. So I pulled my ears up, and then I hear him saying, where's that stuff you had? Where's those items you had? And I look back and I see this fool yelling at me. So I'm like, what? Yeah, where's those items? I said, they're in the store. Where they at? Where they at? You can't go nowhere. He gets behind my vehicle, so I can't back up. Now, by the way, I'm just getting in, so I haven't even gotten in to leave yet. I'm getting in, and he's yelling, and I'm just like, they're in the store. You know what I mean? I'm like, do you want to check me? No, just tell me where they are. They're in the store. Then he tells me I can't come back. He tells me gonna call the police on me, and he gets behind me where I can't leave. But then he decides to take down my car license plate. So I decide that I say, well, if you're gonna call the police, I'm gonna sit right here. Cause see, I'm not stupid. These white people, these motherfuckers, yo, they dangerous. Cause let me tell you what could have happened, and it flashed through my mind. See, if I would have left, he would have called the police. And he would have said that I was there, I robbed, and then I left. And he would have took down my license plates. He would have been able to stop me from going from the store. Now, and then I probably would have got a police officer coming to my house. And see, it would have been difficult to prove that I didn't do shit once I'm gone. See, we got to be very careful with these sneaky motherfuckers, these racist ass bitches. So what I decided to do, I take out my phone and I start recording him. Right? So I say, if you're calling the police, you could call the police, and I'll wait. And I said, while you calling the police, I'm gonna call corporate. So then he notices, he sees people talking to me. Because see, there was a lot of people who I deal with on business who was at that store saying, Miss Lavanya, you okay? So now I'm feeling embarrassed because now I'm like, these are students that I know. These are students I deal with. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to handle this shit right here? Because he's telling me he's not calling the police. No, I'm not going to call him. Fuck that. I don't trust you. So what I do, I go past him. I go back in the fucking store and I point to the fucking items. And I say, is these the items you're looking for? He says, yes. I said, well, where are they? Are they right here or not? I said, you accuse me of stealing. You know what this motherfucker, instead of apologizing, you know what he told me? All you had to do was tell me where you put them. I ain't got to tell you shit. I ain't got to speak to you. I don't know you. I ain't got to tell you shit. As long as I ain't walk out that store with items that I did not purchase, I ain't got to say not a fucking thing to you and nobody. I don't have to say hello. I don't have to say goodbye. I don't have to say, hey, by the way, I had some things in my cart. I just want y'all to know I decided I'm not going to buy them. I'm going to go somewhere else. I ain't got to say none of that shit to him. And I got that video recorded. I put it up on YouTube on my last channel. Instead of him apologizing, he gets all smart and tell me it's my fault. It's my fault because all I had to do was tell him what I did with the items. See, but if I wouldn't have done that, I promise you he would have called them police. He was waiting for me to leave. He would have called them police. It would have been difficult for me to prove that I didn't take anything. And then once he's able to say she stole, then now he can make it to where I can't go to that store anymore because then I will be trespassing. You see, not that I gave a fuck. Now I did end up getting $200 out the deal because I called corporate, right? Even though they gave me a gift card for themselves, because I was like, I'm never shopping with y'all motherfuckers no more. And I told them, that I'm never going to the store where he was. They were supposed to warn me when they moved him to different stores. Every time I see him, you could just see the races on him. Racist motherfucker. And then they be y'all, they be the worst. It don't be them wealthy men. Them wealthy motherfuckers don't care about us. It be the ones who in a predicament we in or worse. Well, you listening to the game? No, I don't listen to no game. I listen to music. That nigga Warren had a silver mountain lion as a handle on his cane. Warren was walking around like he a pimp. Is that what you saying? Warren, was you walking around like you was a pimp, baby? Nah, but these we got a lot of bullshit going on. We got shit going on in our community as well. I don't know what do y'all feel about when they are protesting, when they start burning shit down or stealing shit. See, that is why we can't get the people on our side, because when we're protesting, there are a group of people who will come in and want to use that to their advantage. Just because we protesting don't mean you get to go and break in that liquor store and steal them people's liquor. You see? Don't mean you get to go and break into Target and then go start stealing everything out of Target. And I think that's fucked up. Those people, you know what I'm saying? That's why when there was a protest back in the day, it was controlled. They knew who was going to be marching. They knew everybody who was going to be a part of it. And there was instructions given days before. Everybody knew what they was going to do. Everybody know what was going to be said. Everybody knew that you were going to get bitten by some dogs. They was going to hold you. But they knew this was going to happen. They just wanted it to happen in front of the cameras. You see? You know how tough it is for a man to be getting ravaged by a dog and not want to fight back? How difficult it was for them black men as the police and others around surrounding him, threatening him, pushing him, for him not to punch back. People called him, oh, we not a punk like my grandmother was. I'm not a punk like my grandfather was. The fuck is you talking about? Take most strength for them people to get across to the world what they was trying to get across. Non-violence. They was trying to prove to everybody that our hands are up and we don't have anything in them. And they still beating us. That was their purpose. That was their goal. Okay. That shit was hard. Yeah, I think it messes up the message when they start stealing and breaking stuff instead of protesting and injustice. Write books. And that's what I saw happen yesterday. I was so on board with them, even though I was thinking, well, what's next? What's the next step? There gotta be a step. You got the world paying attention. What is the next step? And who gonna take the step? Like if somebody said, okay, we need you to come to the table, who is that person gonna be? And just because they're black, why would we allow them to choose who gonna represent us? Because see, when we do that, that's how we end up with no resolution at all. That's all they got to do is line that one person's pocket. That one person gonna come tell us to settle down. And then we settle down, and the only person who get a benefit out of that is that one person who we didn't even choose. We're gonna have to do better. We got to come up with plans. In the 60s, this shit was planned out. It was literally planned out. When, what is her name on the bus? Rosa Parks. Did y'all know Rosa Parks? That shit was planned. Rosa Parks, it was planned that she wasn't going to take go to the back. That shit was planned out. They made sure Martin Luther King and everybody made sure that her record was clean. They made sure that she wasn't a woman who they can, turn it into something negative. That she was just a nice woman, Christian woman, no criminal background. You know what I mean? They made sure all of that. They made sure she was the perfect woman. And they wanted it to be a woman. That shit was planned. We can't just go out in the street marching because it's not going to get us nowhere. Because even though right now people watching, even across right now, man, look, we got a lot of other bullshit going on in this country. Okay? Where people watching from all over the world. We got an idiot for a motherfucking president. Okay? We got an idiot for we got anything that happens to us, we gotta fight against Trump. It's almost like we got that fuckery going on, and then we got this fuckery going on. We have to have a plan. I am, how you doing? Let's see. I ain't gonna lie though. Let a riot break out where I'm at. I'ma turn Walmart into everything must go sale. Oh man, Walmart though. Nah. Yeah, no. Yeah, you know what would have helped though? If when a riot breaks out, it breaks out in others' community. See, we burning shit in our own community while they sitting in their homes talking about look at them niggas burning down their own places. You burning down your own place of employment. You burning down the one company that comes in the community. I'm not saying it should be there or not. I'm thinking if you're gonna burn some shit down, maybe if you're gonna riot in some shit, it wouldn't be Walmart's. It would be them goddamn Korean nail shops and hair shops and shit. That's where y'all need to go and burn them. Tell them motherfuckers we don't want them in our community. Y'all gonna go hit the one place they make shit affordable. And on top of that, you're gonna burn down the shit in your own community. What you say? That shit makes no sense to nobody. Okay? It hurts us. Our pricing goes up. See, in our area, for them people to rebuild, they're gonna recoup that money some kind of way. So only in your store, when they giving sales in other places, your store not gonna have no sales. They might up the prices in all the places just to recoup what they lost in that one store. Because their insurance that went up in that area. You might end up losing that store altogether because the company don't want to pay that increase in insurance. You see? So it's all kinds, it hurts us all kinds of ways. Now, if you want to take a riot somewhere, now you take it over there. Where the white people over there in the wealthy homes, when they're doing all that criminal activities and shit, but they keep coming in our neighborhoods to do the criminal activities, then they go back safely to their homes. That's why you go to that area. Burn down their shit if that's what you're going to do. Shit. Then they going to want it to stop. They going to want you to stop, and they going to want to know, well, why are they doing this? Then they going to want the cops to stop. Everything got to be thought of. Now, I'm not saying burn shit down. That's not what I'm saying. I think we shouldn't be doing that type of shit. But what I'm saying, though, why would you burn? It's almost like me getting mad at my husband, right? And I decide to riot, and then I just decide to burn down our own house. Be like, nigga, I don't want to clean the house up. He be like, get your ass in there and clean the house up. Nah, I ain't clean this house up. So what I do is I go to the kitchen, I start burning shit down. I burn the whole house down. Then both our ass outside homeless. No place to live, sleep, or nothing. That don't make sense. It don't make no sense. Okay. I've heard people try to make sense of that shit, talking about, well, it does hurt the people in your area, the companies. No, yeah, it does. It hurts them. And then they'll hightail it out. Then they'll say, well, when they hightail it out, another company will pop up. No, that's not how it works. Because we'll drive our asses to cities away just to go shopping. How many of y'all? I know I've done it. I live in one city and I go to a whole nother city to shop. I go all the way to Middletown or Elton, Maryland to the Walmart to shop. That's what we do these days because we have transportation. Now I will say that hurts our communities when we take that money into other communities. That's why that we don't get the help we used to get. We don't understand economic power. We don't understand the power of a dollar circulating in your area. We don't understand that. Because we do take our money into a whole nother area. Back in the day, I used to get Walmart to donate, right? Or stores in the area in which I lived or where I need donations. I would be able to go to the stores in that neighborhood and say, hey, could you donate some shirts? Or we're going to be doing a basketball. We're going to do a summer camp. How much could you donate? And those companies and stores, they would donate because it's given back to the community. But see, the problem with that is today is that we don't shop like that anymore. We don't shop like that, so they don't donate like that anymore. That was dumb to burn down the AutoZone. Now when you need car parts, where are you going to go? I know that's right. Burning stuff down is not a good option. But if you just gotta burn shit down, burn down the white folks stuff. Yes, yes. Cause white people. That's the term. Do y'all notice? We can have black Twitter could be in the uproar about some bullshit, but without them white people, we don't really get heard. Shit don't change without white people. It's sad to say. It's sad to say. You know what I mean? That we can't make shit happen on our own, but it's true. Obama wouldn't have never became president if it was just for black folks. Obama was not what y'all considered the black people president, in that regard, because white people was who put him in. Right? White people made that happen. Shit. My boo-boo about to wake up. You still sleep? Anyway, y'all, we was talking about community. We need to do better. I don't know what the solution is, and it saddens me. I raised 2 young black men, and now I'm having my grandchildren, and I've always known that it don't matter. See, I could have had. Let's say I would have had white children. That would have never happened. But let's just say it did, right? I still. How should I say this? I understand that my children alone aren't in this world. And see, I think black people, when it comes to community, a lot of people aren't about community. They don't see a need for it. And they thinking, well, we're going to turn away from the community. And they think community just means where you live. But I'm going to have to let you know that's not true. Because you could be in a community full of white people. You might be the only black. You may consider that your community. Those white people don't consider you a part of their community. You the outsider. And you know it. They know it. Let me tell you, we got some black people who like to put these pretenses on. They done moved out of a certain neighborhood. They moving. It don't matter how wealthy they are. Did y'all see what happened to T.I.? Was that T.I.? Wasn't that T.I.? Wait, who was that? Yeah, that was T.I. He got a big wide eye opener. But you know what? I bet you he already knew this though. They let you know that you don't belong. You got to flaunt and your money more just so they can understand that you do belong. Dumbass shit. White people don't flaunt their fucking money. Black people, though, for some reason, we feel like we got to prove that we really belong there. Well, if you got to prove you belong there, then that means you know that they don't believe you belong there. Remember, T.I. was going. He lived in a community. He had been living there for a while. Remember that shit happened last year, a year before. I think it happened last year, a year before last, where they wouldn't even let him into his own community. He had to prove that he lived there, and that God gave him a hard time. And it was some kind of bullshit, man. Some kind of bullshit. Anyway, let me get out of here. It look like everybody left. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, man. Somebody messaging me about the Minnesota riots. That's what's going on. Let me see. Anyway, I got to get to work, y'all. It's 1:00. And although I know y'all think I don't work, I do. I just work from home. And I do. And then I got my grandson here. I made a couple of car decals yesterday, a couple of t-shirts yesterday also. And I'm doing these rolling trays. If anybody want a rolling tray, hit a sister up. If y'all need to see what they look like, I haven't the one that I made, I already sold it. So I'm planning on making one today. I have to get some more paint. I'm thinking whether I'm gonna have my husband go get it or should I go. It's already one, so maybe I'll just wait for him to get home. He'll go get the paint for me. And I'm thinking about making them rolling trays into other things. Everybody don't smoke weed. Like for me, the rolling tray is cute and shit, but I don't smoke. So I found these other trays that I'm gonna make for the football season. And they are kind of cute. And what I'm gonna do is it's gonna be a tray, whatever team you want on it could be on it. That's cool. And then there's this area where you could put your soda or your beer, right? I'm gonna make that fancy and cute. It's been a pleasure, Moses. We'll talk another time. I came on here just to, you know, talk about this bullshit of them killing us, yo. This shit is hard on me. I be in tears and shit. I'm very sensitive to and I can also tell fake people. I'm looking at some of these motherfuckers talk about no justice, no peace, and I'm like, oh, this motherfucker not serious. Then I look at some of them and I be like, then they said that he was either dating or married a white woman. Now that don't matter to me, right? I don't care about that. But they said that she said, don't blame the police or some shit like that. If that's true, and I'm gonna go look that up because I don't know if that's true or not. People be saying a lot of shit that ain't true. But if that's true, yo, that says a lot, right? So a black man is dating a white woman or married to her, and she get killed by white racist cops. I'm sorry, he gets killed by white racist cops, and she turns around and tell people not to blame the cops. What you say? That message right there will be powerful, and I don't think it's gonna be on the benefit of her, right? It'll show that when the going get tough, some of these motherfuckers, they not gonna stick with us. You see what I'm saying? They're not gonna stick with us, baby. They're gonna teach y'all some lessons. I'm out.